Well, good afternoon. There are a lot of you here, which embodies what I wanted to convey to you, and that there's really a new and a winning movement today. And the fact that over 2,000 of you showed up to address these issues, to learn and be equipped to figure out how to protect your families, yourselves, your communities, that is evidence that there's a new movement, and it's strong, and you're part of it. What I wanted to convey is that there is this new united movement. Now, it's not like we're working in a silo. Organizations are joining together who never would have joined together in the past. They're putting aside their differences on political issues, on religious differences, and they're willing to work together on the issues of exploitation. And many are recognizing that pornography is very much a part of the problem of sexual exploitation. We have, at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, we have tried to develop a three-part plan to, one, unite the movement, two, change the messaging around these issues, and three, lead advocacy efforts to demand change in our communities and on a more national level. So we first started doing this by starting to build a coalition. There's over 300 of these groups that have come together: academics, law enforcement, medical professionals, radical feminist organizations, and social conservative pro-family groups, all coming, sitting together to brainstorm and strategize on these issues. That has never happened before, and as a result, we have individuals, Republicans, Democrats, all coming together and willing to work on these things together. Additionally, we have worked to shift the message in the media. For decades, this issue has been portrayed as a moral issue, and many have mocked it and they've refused to discuss it. And so we've really worked hard to shift the messaging to use research and to help the public see, especially the media, see how it's connected to sexual violence, to increasing the demand for sex trafficking and prostitution, how it's contributing to the demand of child exploitation, all of these things. And as we help connect the dots for the media, we have found that they're starting to address the issue of pornography, and they're doing so from a logical and a sound spot. So in addition to trying to help expose the connections between all forms of exploitation for the media and in kind of the mainstream public, we've also worked to kind of frame pornography as as a public health crisis, and Utah helped considerably to that end. You know, a couple of years ago, some of the experts I kind of mentioned from different disciplines, we got together in Washington, D.C., and we started to brainstorm what can be done to help people see how this is not only destroying families and individuals, but also connected to all these other problems. And we decided we should call it a public health crisis. That is what it is. That's the impact that it's having on our society. And so we started organizing events, media advisories and statements to the press, and events on Capitol Hill. And then we got the great idea to write this resolution, which Senator Todd Weiler here in Utah was bold and courageous enough to lead, and it passed here unanimously. Now it's being considered in 15 other states. It passed unanimously in South Dakota. In Canada, the Canadian Parliament took a kind of version of this, and they passed it unanimously just in December. But it's even better because their parliament, as part of this bill, has called on their health committee to study the impacts of pornography. And so all of that's happening in the next 4 weeks. So it's very encouraging, and Utah was the first, and so good work, everybody. I mean, you are the one that made this possible for the rest of the country and other countries to move forward in this way. Because the reality is that it is a public health crisis, that it is impacting us on various levels, and we can't ignore that any longer. The other kind of pillar that the National Center on Sexual Exploitation pursues is trying to change policies that we see as facilitating sexual exploitation, whether it be government policies or corporate policies. Thank you. And recently I was looking back at my notes and all the campaigns that I've been involved in since I started working on these issues in 2010, 2011, and we have changed 76 corporate and government policies since then. Isn't that incredible? The fact that when I started, friends and acquaintances would kind of laugh at me when I said, oh, I'm going to do something about Barnes & Noble selling those magazines, or about all the pornography on Verizon's cable channel. People would say, you can't do anything. And I'm here to tell you that you can do something, and together we can do so much more. One of the tools by which we try to influence policies is our annual Dirty Dozen list. Some of you have heard about it. It's a campaign where each year we name 12 entities that we see as facilitating sexual exploitation, many of them involved in profiting from pornography. Companies like the Air Force and the Army, the Verizon, Walmart, these companies all are very much involved in the facilitation and the profiting from pornography. And so we started this campaign, and we've tried to allow all of you to participate by contacting the CEOs, by helping us buy stock in companies so we can go complain at their shareholder meetings, and it's worked. As a result, we've changed so many policies. We got Google to change their ad policy, so they no longer have explicit ads popping up. They no longer allow explicit apps in Google Play. If we can change Google, we can do anything, right? Like, I want you to feel like you are part of a winning movement, and you can join this, the courageous few who are standing up now and demanding change. We got the Air Force and the Army to stop selling hardcore pornography, and now all of our military branches are doing regular searches to make sure that explicit materials are removed from public and workspaces. We got Walmart to stop selling a number of very explicit materials, including child erotica that they were selling and making money from. We got almost the entire hotel industry in the last year has completely changed and become porn-free. First, Hilton Hotels. As part of the Dirty Dozen list, we were going after Hilton I think they were on it for 3 years in a row, and we were getting nowhere. So, 2015, we really decided we were gonna call on all of our partners, get all of our subscribers to really hound Hilton. They called us 3 months into the campaign that year and said, please stop these emails to our CEO. And we said, well, then meet with us, at least meet with us and hear what we have to say. And they met with us, and you know what we found? That they're parents too. And they were troubled by the child-themed and the rape-themed and the extremely violent, degrading material that they happened to be selling. And when we pointed that out and how incongruent it is with their supposed family brand, they decided to change. And then when Hilton changed, many of the other major hotel brands also followed suit. This January, I just recently announced this 2 weeks ago, but this January, Verizon, they adopted a new policy so that now as a new customer to their Fios TV, you cannot get the porn channels that they were providing and shoving into our homes without our wanting it. You can't get it anymore unless you call Verizon and speak to somebody and you ask for it. And this is maybe a baby step, but it's huge considering we've been going after them for a couple of years. And so now we've turned our sights to Comcast, and we expect them to follow and at least do the same that Verizon is doing. And we need your help to do that. This year on the Dirty Dozen list, I think it's the best year yet. And I have to admit it's been the hardest year as I've done research into some of these companies. And one in particular I want to tell you about is a somewhat victory, but I hope that Utah can help me make it this most significant victory of the movement. And that is, a mother called our office in December and told us about these online databases available in K through 12 schools that are full of pornography and sexual explicit material. And I honestly didn't really believe her when she told me about this. I just thought, this cannot be true. It can't be that bad. It cannot be that bad. But as we started looking into it, we found that indeed it is very true, and it happened to be worse than she thought even at the outset. So this company is called EBSCO Information Services. They provide online databases to universities, hospitals, law offices, but also K through 12 schools. And they rely on this special kind of way to sort the content that they're delivering, and it's based on what is called Lexile, which basically rates the reading level of the content. And guess what? Pornography is very low reading level, right? And so it's getting through the search engines to our children in schools all across the country, and nobody has exposed it. Why? I have a lot of points on that. You could go to our website and figure out why. But what I need you guys to do is help me call on EBSCO and these other databases like this and demand that they change. They're portraying their products as being fit for K through 12 students, but it's full of this very damaging, very explicit content pushing hardcore pornography that bypasses the school filters. And so the kind of good news is, before we launched our Dirty Dozen list, we told EBSCO that we were going to name them, and the night before they called us and they begged us not to list them in our press conference. And that's exciting, right, that we have that kind of sway? And so they called us and they begged us and they promised to change. And I believe that they're sincere. I believe that they're trying to change their technology, but it's not enough. A lot of the other online school databases are doing the same thing. And so we need you to go back to your schools, if you have influence over the school districts, and ask them to cancel their subscriptions to EBSCO until they for sure change their policy. So you can learn more about this at thedirtydozenlist.com. One other just quick victory, Roku, who is on our list. You can see why at our website. But they called us last week also, and they're wanting to meet and they're wanting to change. And so 2 big victories already, just 2 weeks into the Dirty Dozen list. And I want to just end by saying, you're part of something, and we have to stand up for dignity. As Fight the New Drug says, we have to fight for love. I wish you could see this picture I wanted to show of my friend's great-grandparents on their 83rd wedding anniversary. So just picture it. 83rd wedding anniversary. He was 104 and she was 101. And that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting so that our young people can have those kinds of relationships in the future. We're fighting so that we can have those kinds of relationships ourselves. And so I hope that you feel like you're part of something big, and that you can see that it's so much bigger than Utah and that we are having success. Thank you.